Alright, what's up guys? Got another tournament review here for you. This was a 3-round, 3-day tournament. It was the Arizona State Championships presented by Innova. It was in Flagstaff, Arizona. It took place at Little America and McPherson. So those two courses I will play I'll play Little America twice, McPherson once. And round one took place at Little America, which is, I think, like 8,900, 8,500, somewhere in the 8,000 foot range. So I'm going to give you a recap. I've got the notes here, as usual. If you watched the last tournament one I did, it was Top of the Pines, and I shot pretty well there. So, put in the comments below, before I tell you anything, if you think I shot better or worse. Because I'm kind of curious what you guys think. If you think I'm better than I did last time or worse. So, let's get right into the recap of Arizona State Championships presented by Innova. Round one. Alright, hole one. I'm going to keep having the description this side, probably. Probably this side. Might be this side. But probably this side. Hole one is a really tricky starting hole because you gotta get out the tight gap and then hang a straight left to get to the basket, which is elevated and a hill right behind it. So I hit the first tree in the fairway, kind of like Top of the Pines. I always hit the first tree on hole one. And then I had to get a couple of good up shots to give me a look for par, which, being this early in the tournament, I don't want to run it because it goes down the hill. I double, triple bogey. So I just laid it up for bogey. So took in not what I wanted bogey, but probably best case scenario after that drive. Hole two is an over the water shot. Probably seen a bunch of videos on this of like people ace running it and stuff. And I easily had the best drive on that card. But on my upshot, I hit the first tree on my way to the basket, and it went behind me. The tree was like 5 feet in front of me. I early released it, and the disc went behind me, so I had to walk backwards and lay it up for par. So I'm 2 over through 2 holes. Doesn't get any better. Hole 3, I forehand it perfectly into the fairway. Not the best drive, not the worst. My second shot was pretty good. My forehand approach was pretty good. And then I had an actual, like, hard putt. It was edge of circle. And I made it for bogey. So I'm 3 over through 3 holes. It's looking great. Really good. But then we kind of get back on track. Hole 4, I again had the best drive, threw a nice little hyzer flip up with the Diamondback, but there was water right behind the basket, so I didn't want to run it really hard. It was a par 4, I believe, so don't be overly aggressive. I could have eagled it if I was like 3 under at this point, and I was ahead, like way ahead. I could have went for it to get a little more ahead. But I didn't really want to push it, so I just laid it up twice for par. Get out of there with a lucky par. Someone did bogey it on my card because they did end up going down the slope because they tried to get a little aggressive. But, yeah. 3 over through 4. We're back on track, not bogeying anything. And then hole 5, there's a tree hanging in the fairway. And I threw my DD1, threw it a little nose up. It hit that tree branch, and it put it on the perfect nose down angle, so it just glided forever. Taking me down about probably 90 feet, 100 feet away from the basket. Because it did take some spin off the disc when it hit the tree, obviously. But, got out of there with another par. So we're 3 over through 5. Thinking we're on the right track, getting back to what I was hoping, which was around even par. But it was, I think, 20 mile an hour winds, 15 mile an hour winds, sustained. So it was pretty windy. And then hole 6, the wind, it was a straight crosswind, right to left. So I threw my cataclysm, which was going really straight up there for some reason. It wasn't fading a lot, which it normally does. Even when you go up, it should be more overstable. But it was staying a little more straight. I don't know what that was all about. Maybe it was how I was throwing or something. Or, I don't really know. I didn't judge the wind right. So it got to that little hyzer angle because I wanted to get a little hyzer flip for some pushing distance. And it got to that hyzer angle and just held the whole way. It kicked me behind some trees, so I had to do a patent pending. And there's OB all on the left of the fairway. So I threw my Mamba on a Anheuser line. It was looking really good out of the hand. I thought it was going to be perfect. But it hit the tree, went OB. So then I had to take an OB stroke. And then I had to throw my taco, which ended up being pretty good. And then I ran my putt into the wind because at this point it was a double bogey. So I wanted to try and keep it at that. Missed it. It blew all the way. It got crazy. This hole is probably the worst I played the whole entire round. It's funny. This hole is, I shot more over par on this hole almost than I did on the round 3. I'm not going to tell you what I shot in round 3. But, and then I had to just lay up because the basket was on a stump. So I had to lay up for par, or not for par, for a snowman. And everyone that doesn't know what a snowman is, it's when you're 4 over par on a hole. So it was a par 4, I shot an 8. Well, I shot an 8 with an OB stroke. So we're 7 over through 6 holes. Yeah, kind of got away from me there. And then hole 7, it was a perfect shot with the shift, and my putt was looking really good out of the hand. It hit the top band, kicking me literally straight down, so I had to tap in par for that hole. So we're 7 over through 7, getting better. Hole 8, I hit the first tree, again kicking me off the fairway. It was going to be a perfect drive. I know I say that a lot because it makes me feel good, but this one was going to be like an actual perfect drive. But it hit the tree, kicked me off the fairway. My upshot goes to about 100 feet. This is a par 3, by the way. So I kind of give it a little run, kind of an upshot, kind of an approach. And my putt lands short, giving me a tap-in bogey. So we're 8 over through 8 holes now. My goal was to be 2 over at most through the front 9, because the front 9 is easily gettable for a couple of these holes as long as you don't go OB. And then the back 9, you really just want to like par out, because there's a couple of long holes on here that you can birdie. There's some holes that are like really tough par 3s. So my goal is to be like 1 or 2 through the front 9. But hole 9, I get up on the hill. This is a par 5. I get up on the hill, and then I hit the first tree, kicking me about 15 feet in front of me. I had a great 3rd and 4th shot, tapping me in for a easy par. So, like I said, my goal was 2 over. Through 9 holes, I was 8 over. So, we're not on the best start, but I wasn't doing the worst. I was definitely in the lower half, but I wasn't doing the worst for the tournament so far. And there was still like, I think 2 cards left to go when I got to hole 9. But yeah, that one, hole 6, it just destroyed me. Like, I got pretty mad at that hole, because I could have taken the wide hyzer route and definitely stayed in bounds, but I didn't. I tried to get the Anheuser route that would have gotten me closer to the basket, but was more risky, and at this point, I just needed pars. So, that stinks. But the back 9 is hopefully better. And yeah, that hole stinks. That hole kind of ruined that front 9. Because without that, I'm 4 over par through the 9 holes, which is pretty good. But yeah, that hole kind of messed it up. All right, enough on that. Let's get to the back 9. All right, back 9, hole 10. I threw a forehand to the back side of the hill, because it's kind of like in a little ravine. I didn't bring my floppy, which I'm really mad about right now, because that would have saved me the stroke that I ended up getting. So I had to lay it to the top of the hill. I missed my putt left, so it put me down to the bottom of the hill. And I had an uphill putt from about 15 feet, which made it like 20 or 25 because of the uphill slope, which I ended up making. So we're 9 over because I bogeyed that through 10 holes. Hole 11, I had a couple of solid shots to give me a look for par, because it's par 4, straight dog leg left. No Mando, so you can kind of cheat through that a little bit, which I did. Ended up being pretty good. So we parred that hole, so 9 over through 11. Hole 12 is an uphill shot, and it was okay. I hit the tree, but it kicked me straight into the fairway. And then I had a look for par because my upshot was pretty good, but I missed that putt. I had a lot of missed putts. At least probably 8 missed putts. Probably 3 of those were from circle 1. So you can tell that this round's kind of getting away from me. I bogeyed this hole. So through 12 holes were 10 over par. Hole 13, it was probably a really, really good drive, about 300 feet from the basket. But my next throw, I throw it straight into the ground. I don't know what was going on at this time. I just threw it right in the ground. I had to hyzer out. My upshot landed at 15 feet. And I putted that in for bogey, so I'm 11 over at this point. Yeah, not doing what I wanted. And then hole 14, I threw a perfectly straight shot with the cataclysm, and then I had a forehand approach to about 20 feet, putted that in for par. So I was making like the 15 to 30 foot range. I was making those pretty consistently. It was just like that 30 to 33 foot I was missing consistently, and then a couple circle 2 misses here and there. But so I parred that, so I'm 11 over still. Hole 15 is a forehand hole just to get there, but I put a little too much hyzer on it. I thought the basket was a little closer. I did play a practice round before, but I misjudged that hole a little bit. I even brought out the rangefinder and tested it, and I still misjudged it really bad. But I had a forehand little flex line with the Thrasher, because that holds turn pretty well and then fights back. I landed in some shrubs, so I had to pitch out, and then I threw it into like a little tree cluster, and that would have been a putt for par. I missed that going long, so then I had to putt again. I hit middle chains, and it spit me out. That was the definition of the round right there. Middle chains for bogey, and it spit me out. So then I had to putt it in from a tap-in. Easy putt, obviously. It was a tap-in. So I double bogeyed that hole, so I'm 13 over through 15. Yeah, hole 16 is a long par 5. You have back-to-back power drives as far as you can. And then my approach got to about 100 feet, had a look for par, and ended up parring this hole. So we're 13 over par through 16 holes. Not the best. definitely not the worst on the card. I think the worst was like 25 over for this. I'll tell you how I did. I have the ratings up here on the top. So I'll tell you where I placed and how I did for this round. But hole 17, I had a perfect shot through the fairway. Backhand upshot went into a tree. My putt landed short, and I had a tap-in bogey. So we are 14 over now through 17 holes. And at this point, I just wanted to stop my round. I just wanted to be done with that round, move on to the next one, try and forget it. But it really wasn't getting better. The wind was just picking up more. Wasn't doing what I know I could do. I was the first card off, so there was no one in front of me we had to wait for. So it was mess up on a hole and get right back to it, have to like immediately go and tee off. There wasn't any like mess up on a hole, think of what I did wrong, learn how I can fix it, and then like collect myself and throw again. I had to like miss my putt, walk to the next hole, watch 3 people tee off, try and collect myself, and then get up there and throw another power drive because this course is really long. So it was like constant throwing with like no time in between of like waiting people to tee off, seeing how they approach this hole, all that stuff. And then hole 18, this is what I was talking about, that cataclysm. It was gonna be a perfect drive if it stayed a little straight, maybe a little fade, but it flipped into a tree. There might have been a little bit of a headwind. I didn't feel it on the course. I felt like it was a crosswind, but it might have switched directions by the time I had gotten up there and like gone up to throw it. So I had to get sneaky and throw it through the tree as hard as I could, getting it out of the tree. And then I had to throw my rhythm, which was a workhorse for this tournament because it was the only thing I could really control. So I got to about probably circle 2, probably 42 feet, but probably low 40s. And I putted it. It was looking perfect. And then it hit the band, dropped down, so I had a tap-in bogey. So through 18 holes, I shot 15 over par, which put me in 15th place. So it put me on chase card, or not chase card. I'm so used to being on chase card. It put me on the second card to tee off the next day, which was at McPherson. So tune into that video. It should be coming out next week, I think. Either next week or this week, depending on when I post this. My rating at this point was 808, 806 rated. I thought this was going to be like a 700 rated round. I did not feel good about it. I know I didn't play my best. And it ended up being an 810 rated round. So you can tell that people had a hard time on this course during the wind. And yeah, I know I could have done better, but I have to forget about this one and move on to McPherson Park, which was a 21-hole layout for this tournament. So tune into that video, which will be coming out here soon. And hope you enjoyed this one. And just wish me luck for the rest of this tournament. It's already over. I already finished it. But wish me luck for what you haven't seen yet, I guess. See ya.